top of that, there are people, and for us, even if it's one person in Alaska who is helped by being able to tune in like this, it's worthwhile. It's worth our ego collapse and shame and seeing how ugly we are.
That's, see yourself on YouTube first. It's really horrifying, I can tell you. This is not the way I talk.
It's not my voice.
Look at me, you know? The night of the sad stories.
Why am I always apologizing for being alive?
It's quite confronting.
Oh, God. So, that's the YouTube.
Yeah. Do you want to open?
Open. This course, unlike all other courses, when we gave it first in Holland, we were utterly unable to discuss what on earth we were doing. We would have inspiration, all the information was there, the knowledge was there, the insight, even the direction of the meditations was there, but we were unable to form it as a course, as a structure. And I flew in and we arrived in Rotterdam, and it became closer to the date, and Bart began to panic. And we sat down and we started to kind of try and structure it, and everything that we said to each other was almost like a declaration of war. It was not possible. In the end, his brother-in-law came and said, okay, just calm down, pay attention to me a bit, and until the night before, really late at night, the night before, we had no course. There was we were teaching it together, and neither of us had any idea what was going to happen the next morning. At a certain stage, Bart said, it looks like this is how it's meant to go. We'll just see. What will be, will be. This is an amazing example of form. Having the trust to allow form to emerge of itself, attuned precisely to what's needed in real time. And it's not just with a particular group of people. We knew who was coming. It's those people in that moment, in that combination. As a totality. It can't be planned in advance. It turned out to be one of the most attuned courses that we ever gave. The most structured, the most together. Now, we're giving the same course again, but it's in no way the same course. The energy in Israel has a very different vibration. The people, us, have quite a different flavor in orientation and in attitudes to form, how to live in a world of form, how to present themselves, how to see themselves in the world. All of this is different. Different history, different fears, different sensitivities. This is when we talk of peoples before we get to individuals. And what occurred to us this morning was very much how much we're all one, but we're not the same. Good song. We get to carry each other. So it's interesting to look at what we think, feel, believe form to be. What is it? What is a form? What is formless? Is there such a thing as no form? Or is everything just form? And we have some keys here, of all places, here in Israel, in this culture, where the purity of unity is upheld beyond everything else, the oneness. We have a great metaphor, which is Bereshit, Genesis. The creation. It's so deep and archetypal in us as a whole Western culture that we almost take it for granted, this story of Genesis. But there's a few things that we noticed which I think is fun to use as a metaphor. There are the days in which God created. And yet it's written, he said, let there be light. Allow the light. He didn't say, put light. He said, allow, let it be. It's a movement of allowance. What is, is. It's almost a movement of retraction in order to allow.
But in Hebrew it's not exactly Yehi or the translation is let there be light, but in Hebrew I'm not sure it's the same meaning.
Vayehi. How would you translate?
It's like to be light.
Yeah, to be light.
He commanded.
Exactly.
I mean,
no, to be light. It's not a command.
It's also acceptance. I think
To be light.
the meaning
It's
of acceptance of the fact that
at
light
least what
is.
I understand of it. If you say yahi or, it's unconditional. There. It's not a command. If you place a command, there should be light, or
put on the light.
Put on the light, or I create the light. It's not kind of, even the I is not there, yahi or.
Yeah. It's it's almost more pure than the translation in its movement of allowance.
Yeah.
At least that's how I understand Eyeh, She'eyeh. It's a similar basis.
יהי שלום, אתה לא יכול לעשות את זה בכוח, זה בבקשה. יהי שלום.
Anyway, we don't get stuck on it.
On language, it's not that important.
Because we're using it as a metaphor to give a description, a signpost. At the end of the day, there's a moment of creation each day. And now you can say it in Hebrew, and he saw that it was good. So there's a step back and a seeing, an affirmation. And then we have this amazing gift, which is the Shabbat, the Sabbath. Nothing, nada, stillness, no creation, a whole day. And in a way, this is giving us a structure of how utterly dependent everything that has a form is on the formless.
Can you say it again?
How everything which is existing in form is arising from and is dependent on something beyond that, something beyond form. We give an example of something which is really clearly formless, silence. In its purity, silence is formless. It seems to have no beginning and no end.
Silence.
And only because the silence is there are we able to make any noise. Every noise, every thought, everything that's spoken, every tone can take form thanks to the way silence moves through it or between it. The space between words. The space between tones in music.
So when we talk about creation, we talk about form. And also when we talk about creation, everything which is created has a time span. It's temporary. It comes and it goes. it changes. It's not stable. And when you look at creation, like when we make a sound, as I'm making a sound, the background of the sound is silence. The sound has an impact. And the words Georgi is speaking and the words I am speaking, they have an impact. They create something, but I hope they create the start of an understanding. And of course, when we look to the universe and the creation of the universe, the creation of this planet, it's a very, very, very big subject. It's the physical world as we know it, but not only the physical world. It's also the non-physical world as we know, the world of our thoughts. Every thought is a creation, is a form. Every feeling is a creation, is a form. Every emotion is a creation, is a form. Every structure, every state, every movement we make is a creation. How we manifest in the world is a creation. And what happens in daily life so much is that we lose ourselves in this multitude of creations. We identify with it. If you say something funny and everybody starts to laugh, you are funny. And you grasp it, success. And then you try to be more funny. And in being more funny, then you're sometimes successful in that and sometimes not. But you hold on to what is created. You identify with it. Or you have a thought you really don't like. And this thought you really don't like, you don't want to have. These are ways we get entangled, by wanting to have, wanting to possess, not wanting to have, to resist against it, not allowed. And it's so important to see in this whole creation that everything is temporary. Everything comes and goes. A thought is just a thought. It comes and it goes. A feeling is just a feeling. It comes and it goes. An emotion is just an emotion. It comes and it goes. A body is just a body. It comes and it goes. Are we that? Are we the body? Are we the thought? Is it really right to say, I am that I think? Because I've got thoughts. That's the proof. Or I am because I've got feelings. I experience. Is that the truth? I am because I've got a body. Is this what we are? Or are these creations? Things which are taking form through us through us, or we actively give form. Or the physical form we've got. Is this what we are? And then when you look in the life of most people, there is such a struggle with form. It's so difficult just to allow form. And of course, in the background there is fear. The fear, if you give form, you become physical, you manifest. Even the physical form is manifesting. And is the physical form good enough? And the fear which is entangled with this is the fear often of rejection. Am I beautiful enough? Am I acceptable? Am I good enough? Is what I bring into the world worthwhile? Is what I say, what I do, acceptable in a way that it will not be rejected? So we look outside ourselves and we look to forms outside. Which is the perfect form? How to give form, and in this we creative. When we were in England, Dodo was sitting in front of Georgie's laptop watching Michael Jackson. That's a form. And she was totally into it. And that was the form. At that moment she wanted to be. The perfect form. We know better. By now. But still, this is very much how we do. We look outside, we find a form or somebody else who gives a form, and this is the form we really like, we really love, we want to be. So in this, what you could say is that we learn about creation, about giving form. This is a big, big part of our lives. Learning to talk, learning to communicate, learning to express through the physical, to work, to create, to write, to heal. All of this is learning to give forms. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's such an important aspect of life. But the question is, which comes back and back and back again, are we that form? And what we see, if we think, yes, this is what I am, we lose freedom. We get entangled, we get caught. We lose freedom. And again, we can get entangled or caught in two different ways, by kind of, grabbing it, and this is what I am, or by resisting this, the form. I don't want to be this. And also we get blind. and a little bit stupid. If there is not this deep consciousness, awareness, sense inside ourselves that forms are coming and going, everything passes, every form passes, we get a little bit stupid, because then something is happening and somebody is saying something to you which maybe is hurtful, and it's like it will be there forever, it will not pass. He thinks that I'm a jerk, so never he can be my friend again. You understand how we move with it? We take things absolute. So there is a butterfly in your garden, and this butterfly will be in your garden forever. Or will this butterfly kind of fly on and move to the garden of the neighbor? It's what we do in creation so often is that we freeze pictures and we move from one frozen picture to another frozen picture. And with the danger to become too maybe philosophical, how do you say it, philosophical, at this moment, is when you look into it, both is true. Every form passes. But there is this law, which is so important, I brought forward in the courses a lot. We cannot undo. That means that everything is passing, but at the same time everything which is created is there forever. It has its impact. It's there. It's recorded. In a way. It's perceived. It's part of the whole forever. It passes, it comes and it goes. And at the same time, it's there forever. This is difficult to understand. So, if we have this whole play of creation with so much entangled in, which is such a beautiful and strong force, and so worthwhile, but we get entangled in a way that we lose our freedom. And we lose our freedom till a point that we're not able to give form anymore. We freeze. Sometimes. Freedom of form is never found by trying to find the perfect form, by adjusting, by holding on to form. So how do we find freedom? I think we find freedom by kind of moving backwards, inwards, to the background. The background from which form is taking place, from which form comes and goes. And with words, what Bart Georgi brought forward, it's the silence. From silence emerge words. And words move back into silence again.
Or to darkness.
Or from darkness, light is coming forward, maybe form is coming forward. And what's the background of our feelings? What's the background of our physical? Where does this emerge from? And how are we able to move into that background? How are we able kind of to connect with this background? To have the freedom to let our love emerge and go.
What we find when we start contemplating form, is a movement to these backgrounds. To these backgrounds which Bart is talking about. And it's not as if, let's say, there is a form. Here is Georgi's ego.
That's a big one.
Georgi. So the background to this is not found except as a signpost behind it. So I'm looking at Georgi's ego and I look for the background. Where is it coming from? There's a much faster way to realize a form as a form, meaning that it's not formless, and that is when I look at Georgi's ego, to know that this is not Georgi because I'm looking at it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it reacting all over the place. I'm hearing its spiels. I am the one who is experiencing it. I am the background to the ego. It's not out there, it's really moving through perception, the one that can see, contemplation, that in us which is able to contemplate, to allow, to see that it is good. To see that it is good in the sense that it is a form. Also this is a form.
If I understood you right, what you were saying is that the place or the point from which you contemplate another form is the background itself, is it?
The formless is found in that which is seeing.
Right.
What's perceiving?
that which is feeling. We become less form.
That what is hearing. What's perceiving different forms.
And this is not an end point. This is a whole direction into refining levels of formlessness. So on this first day, we are moving into the direction of releasing form. Realizing form. Realizing it in the sense of seeing or feeling or perceiving it, and through that knowing that we are the container of that. We are more than that, because we are the one that sees. This of itself tends to birth more form. There's a circulation which happens of itself. And this could already be happening now. We deepen and something deeper comes forward. It's not that we just open the back door and get lost in formlessness. We reach a deeper layer and it begins to manifest. And everything is allowed. So Bart said that one of the rules of form, the first rule of form, is that everything we perceive, everything we can see, everything we feel, all that we can experience is a form. It's vast, but it's not nearly as vast as that which is able to see and feel and experience. A second rule of form is that it's passing, it's in time. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. It's a function of our doing time.
Well, if that's the second, what was the first?
That's the second? Well, it was kind of, they switched. There's no hierarchy there. The third is that it has its space. Anything which has a space within infinity is a form. You have time, space, and the combination of the two. The evolution of the two. The time factor, the space factor. And both are very, very important. We can live years contracted because we feel we don't have space. We don't allow ourselves space. We can accumulate enormous stress because we never have time. But who decided that? That we have no time-space? Who said where our portion of time and space begins and where it ends? Where's the Russian book? You get this much time, this much space. You stay small. And you do it quick. We decided that. For whatever reason, we are the one that gave this time-space, this form. We agree to that. Even if our parents did it to us. We carry it on. Partly because we forgot how eternal, infinite, and resourceful and amazing it is, all that which is not within time-space caught. How incredibly rich and beautiful and good it is. How clarifying to the mind. You'd think to lose your mind you would go crazy, but actually to really, really, really get hooked in your mind, this is insanity. So we divide it into 3 layers, and this is how the meditation of each day will be structured according to 3 layers, which some of us already know from I Am Here course, and others picked up already from the meditations. The first layer is the layer of consciousness. The great window of structuring and giving form. With every thought we choose to think, we reject another thought. It's quite a rejector, consciousness. It carves up to create something and rejects a lot. I look at Ido, I'm not looking at Noam. I rejected him because I look at you. Choices, consciousness.
I look at you now.
And in this, and I have no judgment about this, consciousness is doing this incredible service of attaching itself to form. I am this, I am this, I am not this, I am not this. It's part of the celebration of life. But this is where we hook, and this is where we are able to let go.
And we divide in between good and bad.
All that mental stuff. It's where we engage in form and say, I am this. It's also where we are able to disengage, let it go. So we talked about these perfections, not being good enough, and how to find the perfect form. This is the danger, that somebody would come to this course and think, okay, I'm going to make my form perfect. I need to improve my form. I need to work on myself, make it a little bit more beautiful, more charismatic. I want to move towards the ideal, and I never seem to get there. No matter how many workshops, no matter how much I listen to Bart, I'm still not ideal. But ideal is interesting. This is ideal, the ideals. You know, when we move into the formless, we get this incredible sense of unconditional love, perfection, infinity, eternity. It's ideal. And then we have to bring form. Because we're still here. The bank manager is calling, house needs cleaning, all that form stuff. And we're carrying with us this inner absolute realization of how ideal we are. And then the mind steps in, and he does something very clever with the word. It's the I, the identification, deal. Okay. Now I'm dealing. I am a spiritual teacher, I am good looking, I have earned this much money, who am I? Who am I? I start to deal with this self, a form of who I am in the world. We begin it as children already, with our fantasies. I am Michael Jackson. It's playful until it's not a game anymore, because our survival seems threatened, because we even forget that it's just a deal. And I do it all the time. I have really no claim here. Even in meditation, I can come to a point of complete nothing, and here it comes, the dealer. You're doing well. Oh, I wonder if you change the energy. Oh, do others see how well I'm meditating? Like a little dog. And I let it go, and it's... In a way, we're never free of that. But we're free in the belief that this is who we are. That in any way it says anything about us. That it could threaten anything inside us.
3 layers.
I'm getting to it, this is... The dog wants attention. So the first layer, formlessness and consciousness, what we use is a beautiful technique, which is to really give ourselves formlessness in the level of identity, of being someone. So the first layer, we put ideal over on a lead, is to allow ourselves to be no one. I am this, no, I'm no one. It's an incredible relief to let ourselves just be Joe Average, no one. 7 billion people on the planet.
Schmoelik.
Schmoelikheid.
Schmoelik is already nothing more.
That's already somebody.
Schmoelik is such a someone.
That's why I'm
He's
failing.
archetypal
That's why I'm
already.
failing. I try to be the wrong no one.
The second layer is on the layer of awareness, which is the layer of feeling. How we feel ourselves on the layer of being. How we feel ourselves to be. Something. How we feel something. And here the gift we can give ourselves is the freedom to be nothing.
Not a thing.
No thing. Every form is a thing. We want to allow ourselves to also be no thing.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
I am not my love. I am not my hatred. I am not what I experience.
How does it feel to be nothing?
Not a thing.
I'm trying to find the difference between no one and nothing. When I'm imagining how to take it into practice.
The difference between, is it okay if I give an answer? The difference between no one is no one is identification. In a way, you know, this is what I am. You grab it, it's more from the mind. As nothing is not a thing, that's more the identification from sentience, that what we feel, you know, is what we hold on to, what we are. I'm a loving person, or I'm full of hate right now, or I'm full of anger, or I'm full of jealousy, all of these are basically forms which are come forward, which come and go, and basically we hold on to it as if it is ours. I think this is the best way to say it. As when you look to it, an experience is not ours, it's just moving through us. It's like a thing. You know, we can look at the flowers, and basically when you look at the flowers, it's a thing, and it's at the same time alive. You understand? And when we look at the flowers and we start to experience the flowers and the blend and the unity which can be there with the flowers, it becomes an experience. So we experience a thing. So are we the thing we experience?
It's really, really, really important.
It's very hard to do.
Because we have,
It's easy.
it's hard because we have in our configuration very deeply engraved in the way our minds work that it's either or. You can be someone, we're all someone. No question about it. What we deny ourselves is the gift of being also no one. You can experience love. We can experience whatever we feel of ourselves. What we deny ourselves is also the nothing, which is the background to it.
But no one is like not to have a title for something.
Yeah.
So
And the nothing is like a blank page. There is nothing, nothing written, nothing experienced, nothing. Just nothing. Absolutely total space.
So when you feel deep love, then you go behind it. And
It's just
Allow
love is
also
nothing.
the nothing, and the love actually will become more free.
to allow the nothing.
Also the
But it
nothing.
goes through the mind. I say, okay, I'm. Now
If it goes through the mind, you lost the love already.
Yes, what I mean is that if I experience love, it doesn't matter. If I experience anything, and there's a wedding minute, I want to go behind it. So it's the mind is doing that. Dividing, say, okay, that's not me. That's the vision.
May I say something?
Yes.
So this is a very good very good kind of way to explain it. So I feel love, and I kind of, I move with this love. I find an object. I feel love for this red flower, and I'm totally in it. So I become the thing, the love. You understand? And at the same time, by moving like this, it seems that the love is more getting intensified, but it's an absolutely totally kind of entanglement with this love at that moment. And immediately what is created is a polarity. I feel love for that flower. You understand? There's this.
The moment you do that, you are entangled, and then you cannot move with the
You cannot
natural
move.
movement of the love.
Exactly. So if we step back and we perceive this love which is moving through us towards the flower, we move more into nothingness, from which the love arises. So the love is totally free to move towards the flower, and then it's not I feel love to this flower, or I feel a lot of love, but love is just moving between me and the flower. It's at that moment created in the space between me and the flower.
Yes, perfect.
And the miracle is that the moment I don't fly out towards the flower I love so much, but I can move backward in a nothing, the incredibly joy which is there. That I'm able to perceive this love,
But don't you?
which is totally free.
But don't you get entangled in that incredible joy? Then it becomes.
It's the same. This is just a joy that comes and goes. You also perceive.
What exactly do you perceive? when you feel
What?
something between you and that something happens, like not the love that grows, but the love that you feel. But if you feel love, then you feel yourself and you feel love. But you're also stuck somehow there, because you say, okay, there's something also behind me, sitting here, perceiving.
Not behind you, more to the depth of you, which is able to perceive,
So how do you
which is able to feel the love, to experience the experience. What does experience? Is it, you know, where do we sit? Did we sit in the experience? I experience that light is coming through. So I say, okay, I am the light.
No,
Is this what it is about? Or is it the miracle that I am able to experience the light, which gives the freedom? You understand?
But is it a thought?
What?
But is it a thought?
Is it a?
A thought.
No. It's a position inside yourself, in the depth of yourself, in which you perceive things come and go in the background, which is absolutely still. Not silent, but it's still. There is a non-movement. There is a nothing. You understand? As in the mind it's silence, as in the heart it's still. And from this still, things are moving forward, created. It's the position from which we perceive. We cannot hear anything when we're in a position of noise. When there is too much noise in the brain, we cannot hear what another person is saying. We cannot feel anything when there is a turmoil in the heart. But when there is a position of still in the heart, we can start to experience. It opens up. You understand? If we are walking around, I have to give love to Noah, I have to give love to Iris, I have to give love to Natalie, I have to give love to Sarah. There's nothing in this activity, because I am a loving person. You see what's happening? There's nothing perceived. It's all creation of an image. So it's moving back into the still, into the nothing.
And the mind is active in the sense that it takes in the message and agrees to let go, agrees to get out of the picture. It's needed for this. Consciousness needs to surrender for this. And this is an extremely important part of consciousness, its ability to surrender, not just to hook, but also to agree to stand back. And in that, space is created for the purification of awareness of feeling, to feel what is feeling, what is feeling, what is feeling.
That's what I'm asking, how you feel what is feeling with it.
Yeah.
I go there
Yeah.
maybe 2
Yeah.
or 3 steps, and then I have to think, okay, what's behind it?
Okay,
what's
so
more inside?
that thought that comes forward, that thought be, I agree to go into the background, I agree to diminish. Or your consciousness, your thought can say, choose for the feeling. What is this? What is this feeling? Where's the nothing? But just as a kind of send back to the level of feeling, to the level of awareness. Consciousness is totally able to let go.
No, I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun, like loving something, not grabbing, but feeling there.
Exactly.
And then I say, okay, who is the person that is having fun? Not the person, who is that is having fun? That's interruption to the fun. So that's the question actually.
Exactly, so you move a little bit backwards inside. And then
But that's the mind because
that's he's asking, but don't fight the mind. There's nothing wrong with the mind. So the mind gives a direction. You can either ignore it or you can move with it. Curiosity is the key to everything. If we wouldn't be curious, we wouldn't look at ourselves. We wouldn't learn. We wouldn't develop. Curiosity is great. So basically, by looking behind, what's happening is that, like what there is when you look to thoughts, there is a thought and there is a space there in between thoughts, from which thoughts can arise. If you look to feelings, experiences, they arise from something. There is a space there. It's what's behind that. You understand? So we can find ourselves in the experience and say, I am the experience, or we can move into the space, which is there as well, the nothing, non-creation, non-imagine, because non-memory. When we move into that, this space, this is basically brings us closer to perception, to perceive. How we perceive. We perceive through this space, the experience. You understand? Am I saying it in the right way?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to be very precise.
These questions will come up.
They will come up.
And best of all is it comes out of experience directly. And it's really okay.
Because I don't
Whatever
want to
comes
fill in
forward,
your experience. It's not right.
So we come to the third one?
Yeah.
About which it gets worse, by the way, but we're not going to discuss it. Nowhere. He's the nowhere man. Can I still spell? Nowhere. To allow ourselves to be nowhere.
Not here.
Now here, you mean?
Now here.
Trademark.
Yeah.
It's from Love Guru. Another great gift of time and space. Another gift which allows us to also be beyond time and space without in any way cancelling out our time and our space. Not either or, and. We can be totally here and also allow the experience of the nowhere. And the more nowhere you allow yourself to become, crazily, the more you become here. The more you arrive here. The more nothing you allow yourself, the more the thing comes to life. The more no one you allow yourself to be, the more a more true someone begins to emerge.
Let's wrap it up very quickly. I think it's important because it's such a beautiful kind of coming forward. It's a course about freedom. It's a course which to the depth helps us, if we are able to move with it, to find a trueness of form. And I tried to, in 2 sentences, explain this. In the last day we come much more to the depth of this. But we are all unique as we are created. And the way we talk, the way we think, the way we experience, the way we give form, the way we are here is absolutely unique. And is a service to the whole, because at the same time we are absolutely in union, part of this world, of society, of humanity. We all have to add something there. It's not for nothing that you're here. You cannot be wasted. So to kind of, between this uniqueness and this unity, there is a movement. There is an absolute, total movement through all the levels of creation. And to come to this place of self-realization, of realization where you become aware that you're absolutely in tune, in dance with the world, with the universe, that you're the right person in the right moment, in the right place. That the three layers falling together in service of the whole. In which the forms which are emerging are not you, but moving through you. In which you are aware of the miracle that you're able to experience. In which there is a freedom of thought. This is mastery of form. And we don't get it by kind of trying to demand a form in the form we want to have it. But we get it kind of by leaning back into the three elements and surrender to the miracle of our own existence. What we are right and experience right now here. That's how easy it is and how difficult it is. So stage by stage we go through these days. I think it's easy, and some of you think it's really difficult and impossible, but you can make it really complex, and you can make it really simple. And we try to make it really simple, so we see if it works.
And it doesn't have to be the whole of you, it can be with one issue,
Yeah.
one little form, to get the principle.